Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, I'm just a question asker, but the one that is important, this is my brother from another mother, but we got the same father. This is Captain Leonard. Good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem, and the Morning Glow family.
You like that, ain't Leonard, before we get started on any other topics, man, we always come to you early in the morning, man, to get us up to speed on the political arena, man. What's going on right now?
Man, the political arena is just that, still a political arena, and it's
Yeah.
hard to,
Mm-hmm.
it's some people think it's so simple,
Mm-hmm.
but I would really, I was talking with someone the other day whom I used to work with, an elder, a lot of respect for her, and we talked about leadership.
Mm-hmm.
Young people go after these seats. All these old folks you're sick of, it's time for them to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to challenge them
Mm-hmm.
and to get them out of office, especially those that you see that are behaving unethically.
Mm-hmm.
You have mayors still, going to jail.
Yeah.
All this type of corruption going on. It's going to be hard to bring forth good government if you got another agenda.
You said something right there, and you just put something on my heart, Leonard. Let me ask you this question. And this is personal opinion. This what I'm about to ask you right now is certainly personal opinion. But what's the guy named in Detroit? The brother in Detroit, man. Kirkpatrick was his name.
Kwame
Kirkpatrick.
Kilpatrick.
Kwame. Yeah, yeah. Now he did some things, but did he do what he did? Was it justified for him to go to jail, or was he just going through the motion like pretty much everybody else that's in that political arena at that particular stage?
Well, a lot of the dynamics are the same when it comes to certain issues like that.
Hmm.
Kilpatrick uh, did a very good job.
They say he
Um,
did.
yeah, it was excellent for Detroit.
Hmm.
However, you can't burn bridges, and you have to be very, very clean, especially when you're young and black. And
Leonard, you,
so,
you know what I said yesterday, brother. I don't mean to keep jumping in, man, but
go
look,
ahead.
you know what I said yesterday about you and I had a discussion about it. You kind of got on me a little bit, Raheem. Don't you never said it, so I ain't gonna say it the way I said it. But my thing is, Leonard, as long as you treat them just across the board, you know, everybody ain't gonna treat everybody right, and just for the record, I said I was gonna clean it up. I don't want anybody to treat me bad. That's not what I was saying yesterday. I don't
Hmm.
want anybody to treat me bad. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stop them if I see them trying to treat me bad. But my thing is, long as they're consistent in how they do things,
Well,
that's
that's the problem. You
mhm,
can be consistently screwing up,
absolutely.
and there are rules and things in place. And so, let's say, for instance, caution, a lot of politicians who get these jobs, they got other agendas on the side. You'd
Hmm.
say, why would this guy win this election, have access to the power to do what is
Hmm.
right for the city, and
Hmm.
now he in jail?
Yeah, yeah.
It is because those things that he has to follow rules too. And
Hmm.
that's why I want people to get involved, because one, just don't sit back and just assume that people have the right to misuse, abuse, and treat
Hmm.
you a certain way just because they
Hmm.
have authority.
Yeah, yeah.
You
No,
you
no
have
punching bag.
It's called conscientious objection.
Hmm.
That I'm
Hmm.
not gonna do what is wrong, you know,
Hmm.
just be what I feel is wrong just because
Hmm.
someone wished it. And you see a lot of things like with Kilpatrick. Yes, he did some things. However, they were never at the magnitude of being jailed, really.
Hmm. Hmm.
But it all started with his personal life.
Yeah.
They went after him personally. Black man,
Hmm.
they always looking for the woman you screwing.
Hmm.
Always.
Was that a part of Reed's downfall?
Well, no, Reed just lost in popularity, and the people finally got tired
Hmm.
of being treated second class to corporate concern.
Hmm.
A mayor needs to be closer to the people. If he's close to the people, they will keep electing him if he keeps giving them a reason to. But
Hmm.
corruption catches up with you.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that's the way I go after people.
Mm-hmm.
Because one, you have to find out, okay, what they're doing. If we're trying to get them out of the office, we have to campaign against certain people.
Mm-hmm.
I know it may seem strange, and a lot of people say, well, I'm not going to do this. I'm upset. No. Campaign against people you want out of office as well.
Mm-hmm.
See, it don't take nothing to go vote. Just go vote.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like some people are volunteer for their candidate. That's a way to get involved, to show that one, hey, the majority wants this person. We need to remove this person because of A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like generalizations. I
Yeah.
want the facts and evidence on that person.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you're skiing don't mean you can.
Yeah.
Especially in predominant areas where there is a lot of black power,
Mm-hmm.
like Atlanta, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
It should be Stacey Abrams should win the governorship simply just based on the corruption alone
Mm-hmm.
of Brian Kemp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Never been a good person.
Mm-hmm.
He has never been a good person for office.
Wow. Wow.
And so now we're looking at, like, say, for instance, Georgia is one of the worst states to handle the epidemic.
Mm-hmm.
You remember all that foolishness before?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would leadership not be the people be their number one concern?
Mm-hmm. It should be.
It should be.
That's supposed to be why they're in office, actually.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Let me do this. Let me go to Curtis too. We got Curtis on the line. Curtis, good morning. How you doing this morning, sir? Curtis, you there? Curtis.
Morning. I didn't open up. Morning, y'all. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good. We're talking about political office and people that's in office and how they get there sometime, Curtis, and they lose their vision, man. They lose their vision and they get caught up in the okie doke, if you will. They get caught up in that okie doke. Kirk Pratchett, I know you know about Kirk Pratchett out of Detroit. Reed out of here in Atlanta. There's so many people, man. In South Carolina, you got senators like your boy LG. I call him LG. But are they in it, Kirk, for the right reasons?
A lot of them come in it
Mm-hmm.
with the intention.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say that.
Mm-hmm.
But they come in it with a lot of them come in it with the right intention. You know what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
money corrupts.
Wow.
Power corrupts. What's that saying?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say it, Leonard.
How about absolute power?
Power corrupts.
Power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you got to move them out. We as a people, as a voting bloc, have to move them out. I was talking to one of my participants yesterday, and they were talking about how voting is all a facade, and how there's an initiative to keep us paying attention to that, blah 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 blah. And I had to slow down. I said, hold on, man. I said, sometimes you get sick of hearing about the conspiracy, right? And all the conspiracy sometimes makes sense.
Yeah.
You gotta look at it from the other end too. Could be a deeper conspiracy on a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to remind them that, like, irregardless of if it count or not, you need to make it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That we want to fight against it, you got some skin in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man. I mean, I'm in a state where our last 3 mayors done went to jail.
Wow.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Our last 2 out of 3 mayors went to jail.
Wow.
They sent one mayor to jail behind selling children's books to an insurance company. children's books that she wrote. You know.
And she went to
There's
jail for
another
selling.
man that sell-
Hold on now. You say you say she went to jail for selling children books.
She went to jail for selling children's books to an insurance company that she wrote. And some people say it was unethical, but a lot of times I don't believe these males are doing anything that ain't been going on. I just think that they don't want to fall, you know, because of promises. You know, maybe there's some promises made, you know, to them. You know, look, we need you out of office. I don't know, but yeah, I got my last man, not the last man. Yeah, the last man went to jail because she struck a deal with an insurance company to sell children's books. She wrote a children's book. She sold it to the. She struck a deal with Kaiser Permanente. Right?
Yeah.
And they bought up a bunch of the books. Not the mayor before her. The mayor before her supposedly is the mayor who turned in the mayor before her.
Wow.
And suppose he went to prison because her husband was a contractor. Of course, you know, he's black, so he's considered a minority contractor. Well, he started giving out a lot of the contracts that the city had. She started giving them to the right people. She started to think like the city has a certain amount of minority contracts that should go to minority companies.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
So she was making sure that the minorities was getting their skin in the game. The problem was her husband was a contractor. So they hooked her on that.
Wow.
Man, you gotta be careful, man. But what's crazy is here's the crazy thing, and I land the plane right here. Here's the crazy thing right here. Is we can allow for such things like Sheila Dixon situation to go on, right? And we all rebel rouse and whatever. But we don't do nothing to Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, exactly.
Mitch McConnell's hell right now, bro. Prison.
Absolutely.
Embezzling for all kinds of him and his wife should be in jail. One of them should be locked up. Do the research on it, man. It'll blow your mind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me see who else we got here. I think we got Ibrahim. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing well this morning, preparing and seeing about this new January 6th committee, what they coming up with.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Another hearing is tonight, right?
Preparing.
There's another hearing tonight, right? Yeah. What do you think that happened behind that?
Well, I think that they have more than enough evidence to put people in jail. It's just, I guess, there's a fear of putting these people in jail. I mean, the district attorney, you know, he was interviewed, and they said, would you even prosecute the former president Trump? And he kept making some kind of statement. He evaded that statement. You know what I mean? And I think that there's some legal jurisprudence in there why he did evade the direct statement. But he said nobody kept saying nobody's up above the law. But it seems that the people that they have already arrested and put in jail has got like sentences for I don't know, for jaywalking. You know what I mean? And they should have received more stiff sentences. You know, based on the Constitution of the United States and the Civil War. There's some of the laws that were passed. Some of the politicians should be removed from office based on the Civil War. We're not even talking about 1870 and 1894 when they removed blacks from office. I mean, literally, physically removed them from office. You know, so we're not. But for what they're doing to these people seem to be a tap on the wrist. This was a very horrendous crime that they committed. You know, sedition. I was trying to do when I was a kid for just fight with police officers. You know. And making anti-American slogans like Black Power, you know, and but these guys here are getting slapped on the wrist for actually storming the Capitol, and the president wanted to walk to the Capitol to claim, you know, that he took over the United States of America, and that was really what was going on. And people just like, I don't know, just so. I mean, I don't know. It just upsets me that people. So now, Now, what the other gentleman discussed on elections and everything, and I think he's right, that when people vote for people, that's all you doing. You know, you use other people's opinions, using advertising and all like this here. But the people that really understands it are the people that go to work for these people, you know, and to create a politician that's going to vote for them, or vote for their special interests. That's what you should be doing. You shouldn't just wait till the last minute to vote for somebody and then complain and then have bias remorse, right? You should get in there and find out about the people you're going to vote for if you're really sincere about the voting process and the republic, the democracy way. You know what I mean? You should understand that. We complain about these things that we have yet participated in getting and putting people in office all the way from the dog catcher up to the governor of the state that you're in. You know, and these are and these people that these electoral college people, you know, they're part of the process of these different groups that you let. The Republican Democrat Party have their own electorates. They choose their electors. You don't. But you know, these are the parties in process and powers in process. I mean, we complain about the electoral process that the founding first president of the United States created, George Washington, and a bunch of others, right? The founding fathers created this because they didn't think that we had the wherefore to vote for the president of the United States, or that we weren't.
Let me ask you this question, Ibrahim.
You know,
do you think how do you feel about the whole voting process? Is it necessary, or do you think it's a waste of time?
I think it's necessary. I think it's necessary. I mean, how can you determine the will of the people or the majority or the minority? There's no way to determine that. And this democracy is a mobocracy. It is based on the majority of people. You know what I mean? And their feelings and sentiments. I think it's very important. And it's very important to put people in office that understand beyond that, but also represent the people they represent.
Good deal.
You know,
good deal.
I mean, what other, you know, democracy in its purest form, that all of us sit down in the Senate and take time to, you know, to ponder, you know, what we're going to do. So in a republic, we choose representatives to represent us in this, but we don't do what we're supposed to do, is to select the representatives that represent us instead of voting for people that other people think that should represent us and what they stand for.
Good deal. Stay right there for a second, sir. Stay right there for a second. I got to, you know, roll around a little bit, Leonard, and I appreciate that. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
You know,
hey,
just listening.
I just wanted to ask, man, what's going on? I haven't been watching, man. I had to drift away for a little minute. But what's going on with the new January 6th commission? Is he talking about? Are you guys talking about that new commission that they talking about? They're going to create if they win the House back, or what's going on? Because I have not been watching.
Well, we actually talking about there's going to be another hearing today on that. And gonna see what they're gonna do moving forward. But Leonard, you can definitely speak on that.
Well, definitely, there's an attempt to change the electors law, and this is one thing that has to be looked at, because the Electoral Commission is a major component of our democratic process, and it did have a lot of was needed at one point. However, what needs to happen is you should not give electorates absolute control to choose whom they want. The electorate in some states are held by law that if the popular vote is one way, that's the way they vote. They have to vote that way. But then again, we have these electors now under suspicion because of this corruption. Even to this day, your president, your ex-president, they have put out information that he is still tampering with this process. It's illegal. What he's doing. And one, they're trying to change the laws in certain states to where if the, how should you say, if the interests of certain people like a Donald Trump does not agree with an election, they can overturn the electors. And use their own. Now, think about that. The people vote, but you don't like the way it went, so you go and change it. They're trying to make that a law. If every American is not in a rage about that, you don't deserve to be an American.
Does that not take away the power of the vote?
Exactly. Now, the electorate was people have, people have a lot of problems with the electorate as it is now, but a lot of
Mhm.
people don't have enough information about the electorate.
Yeah.
And things like that and why it's done. But it works, but you have to bind those people
Mhm.
to the law. You
Mhm.
can't
Wow.
just allow.
What pushing that initiative, and what is the opposing party saying about that initiative or doing about that initiative? Because I think I have an understanding about exactly what you're talking about. And I told Raheem about it the other day when we was on here with them just switching the polls or whatever. But that's small compared to what you're talking about.
Mhm.
So
May I?
Hold on. Let everybody finish their thought. I'll come back to you.
Pushing. I guess my question is, what party is it that's pushing that initiative to change the election law?
May I address that?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
The Reform Electoral Count Act, I think, is what Kurt is referring to.
Go ahead, Ibrahim.
Yeah, well, okay, well, obviously, right now it's the Republican Party, or parts of the Republican Party. Now, when we say parties, we associate the parties with the popular start or trend in a particular party. But this is only part of the Republican Party. Actually, you could say Trumpers. You know what I mean? This has nothing to do with the Republican Party in general. And these people were organized and put together. So what's happening now is that they're controlling the vote as everybody should. You know, I don't know if y'all been paying attention, but they started back block bosses. And a block boss, it helps encourage people to vote down party lines in different areas, right? They're voting in judges on the local area. They're voting in your Congress people, your state Congress people. They're voting in your county commissioners, right? And down the line, so that they can change these things. Your Secretary of State, if you remember how Stacey Abrams was done, that the Secretary of State ran for governor, and he appointed his buddy, his second in command as Secretary of State, which is actually testified against Trump and what he was forced to do in the election process. But that election was so close, I don't understand why Stacey didn't contest that. Under Georgia law, she could have easily done, and that was controlled by a Republican Secretary of State. Now, if you look at the breakdown of Georgia and a lot of these states, right, on county levels and area levels, they draw this line that can incorporate where that even though the majority of people in this area may be Democrat, they actually structure the line where the majority of people that vote are Republicans for their party. Now, each party has this ability, but Republican Party has been doing this since the 90s, and the Democrats have yet failed to resolve themselves on the local level and drawing these lines. So what we see right now is the manipulation of the voting process. A lot of this is even legal. It might be immoral, but it's legal with what they're doing. And we don't understand it. But what happened January 6th is totally immoral against the Constitution. You know, and a lot of these laws were enacted after the Civil War to stop politicians from running that were one time, Confederates, right? And all this kind of thing. What we're seeing was an actual takeover. You can look at all these little third world countries, how they take over. It's taken over of the legislative process. They went in there. When that guy hit that hammer on the thing, I thought he was going to actually hold a vote. And that would have been an actual coup. And the president had showed up there at the state capitol during that time. That was an actual coup. You see what I'm saying? So we don't understand that. We're looking at all these ambiguous terms, and it doesn't, a lot of things doesn't affect us because we're sitting here and we don't understand the majority opinion. So all this by stopping the vote or changing the vote, yes, they're trying to, some states have laws that they want to control the electorate, or they can turn against them. Georgia, they try to pass these laws, and they pass these laws. And a lot of Republican states, they're passing these laws. So they control who runs for office. So that means that the Republicans will control the electoral process for who knows whoever. But it works against them. Just by some miraculous chance, a Democrat will get off of the same vein and change these things back or use these same laws, right, which happens against people, right? Then there will always be a Democratic president, a Democrat elected official. You see what I'm saying? So sometimes, but we have to understand this on our basic level. We worried about the president of the United States. Our basic level is right here, your county commissioners.
Absolutely.
Your state
Absolutely.
your mayoral candidate,
Mhm,
the people that are in the mayor. We should have block bosses like we used to, like they used to do in Chicago and New
mhm,
York,
mhm.
down to the lowest level. I don't care if we elect dog catchers or we elect judges here in Georgia and all this. So
Mhm.
this is the electoral process. And you complain about voting, then you don't miss the whole picture. You don't understand democracy or republic or this republic that we live in. Period.
Mhm.
You
Good
know, you're
deal.
clueless.
Okay,
You
good deal.
know,
Stay
so
right there,
you can
brother. Stay,
participate from
stay right there,
day
brother.
one.
I gotta keep it moving, Ibrahim. Like I said, you got a lot in you, brother. I can't let you get it all out at one time. Hold on. Let me keep moving this thing. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Captain,
How
good
you
morning, sir.
doing? Fine. Thank you
Hey,
for having
doing good. We're asking a question. We're talking about the whole. Right now, we're talking about the January 6th situation, and I'm gonna ask you a very obvious question. I know you answer already, but I'm gonna ask the question. I want you to address the listeners that's listening with this question. Had that group of individuals looked different, would we still be at this place right now? Or we still going through the whole situation, trying to figure out what this is, or who they gonna do this and who they gonna do that? Would the outcome have been different, or would it have already been resolved?
No, there's no question. You right, you know the answer. No, would have definitely been different. We wouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the outcome would definitely been different, dear brother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. So another obvious question, and like I said, I'm asking these questions for this. We got quite a few people that's on the phone now. We definitely gonna get to each and every one of you in just 1 second. Please be patient with me. Why is this process taking so long, Captain? What's the whole purpose of elongating this process?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I really not gonna sit there and try to fake it with you. I don't follow it, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was the jail was convicted. That's how ignorant I am about the whole process. I'm still meeting on this. Well,
Yeah.
so
Mm-hmm.
I can't comment on why the
Okay.
process is. See that to the great Dr. Leonard.
Uh-oh.
He's a
Not
great
Dr. Leonard.
political healist. And I think brother Haim, he did it. He seems to know politics real well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I can't answer that one.
Got you. Good deal. Well, we're gonna stay on this for just a minute or two. Then we're gonna move on to another topic before we get to our topic of the day. But I want to go to Cassandra. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, why do you think this thing is taking so long to get to a conclusion? All the evidence is on the table. All that you saw what they're doing. There's videos of what happened. Why is it taking so long?
Well, it's pretty obvious. The powers that be, which are the rich and powerful of Oz, have decided that they don't want this. They don't want this in the light right now because of the elections coming,
Mm-hmm.
and they're going to do everything they can to dismiss it, and that's what they've done. The Republican Party has literally, except for maybe 2 or 3, have totally dismissed that this was anything other than a really nice tour of the state capitol. They were there just touring. They were friendly. They were hugging people.
Wow.
It was just such an amazing, it was just a kumbaya moment between the protesters or whoever they call themselves and the state capitol police. So I don't know why y'all making such a big deal, because it was just they just came over to see the state capitol to do a tour.
Wow. And if we were to believe that, that it happened, it's just the way that they're trying to describe it, we'll be just as crazy as they are.
But the thought is that we all so stupid. We don't, what we saw was not real. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we saw was just an illusion. First of all, that was put on by Black Lives Matter. I almost saw I almost said a I'm sorry. I almost said a cuss word. I'm done.
Okay, good deal. Mr. Hicks, good morning, sir. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Globe. I'm doing fine. Prayer. Everybody's doing well.
Doing well, doing well. Good to have you, sir. What do you think about this whole situation? And from where you're sitting, Mr. Hicks, why is this thing taking so long to get to a conclusion?
I think they're dragging out as close as they can to the elections at the end of the year. They want to have it fresh in the mind of their party voters,
Mm-hmm.
and try to draw a contrast. The thing is interesting is, right, they call this thing insurrection. Now, I'm a student, and I don't know much, but I'm a student of history. I study sort of coups and all those things, and that I think it was on. I look like this here. There's been a failure of enforcing the laws on the elite on both sides of the aisle.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout this whole thing with the police has always been told to stand down. They stood down on January 6th, and they gotta be honest. If you want to be honest, you gotta have questions like how many government agents inside that crowd pushing them on? How many police were down with letting them in? How many? And Pelosi that had the responsibility, and there was a request for extra National Guards. So there's a whole lot of other questions. This thing is dragged on so long. One person killed by someone that was killed not by the rioters. But then you look at what happened out west. People's homes got killed. People got murdered.
Mm-hmm.
People took over cities, burned down businesses, and took over police stations. But there was never a cry. There's never been a real examination of any of them guys. Comey who under oath perjured himself. I mean, all of that. I mean, so it's almost like they want to lock people up on one side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lock them up at the airport, go to their house and pull them out and do other stuff on one side, but on the other side, I mean, whether it's whatever it is, it's glossed over.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. But
So
it's prolonged to try to influence the vote.
Okay,
And
so
then
let me ask you this
that-
question, Mr. Hicks. What is your whole view as to what happened on January the 6th? If you were the one that had to make the decision and say what it was, what happened, and how it should move forward, what would you do?
What would I do? Oh,
Yeah.
shoot, that's a deep question. What would I do? I guess what needed to be done was going back farther.
Mm-hmm.
Those people had broke the rule of law, and it was there, and it's obvious. It's obvious that Clinton wiped her computers clean. It's obvious that her husband is connected with all that stuff going out there on that island, and so is she.
Okay.
But there's no real effort. Yeah, what I do is, I don't know.
And see,
I
and I got Tucson on the line. I want to go to Tucson as well. Then we're gonna circle our way back around. But my thing is right here, Mr. Hicks. With all due respect, sir.
Yes, sir.
If we were good, you say go all the way back to a certain time. We have to concentrate on what happened on January the 6th. We have to get some kind of a conclusion to what happened on January 6th, and we'll deal with the other things as we get to them, and we'll make our way back. But let's deal with January 6th, and let's deal specifically with January 6th. What should happen?
Well, I think what should have happened. They should have had a real committee. They should have had people that was there to defend and advocate. They got everybody that was on this. It's part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not fair. That's all I'm saying. It's not a fair situation. Look at that from the outside. Unless you just root for that team, you can go with winning, but it's not a straight thing.
Wow. Okay. Tucson, hold on, everybody. Tucson, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Doing well, man. Good morning.
Good morning to you, sir. Now, Tucson, if you're in charge of you're over the whole committee that's going on, that's dealing with the January 6th situation, what should be the outcome?
This is gonna be ugly,
Mm-hmm.
but if we do it fair, you go get the ex-president first,
Mm-hmm.
because if you cause something to happen, then you're part of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I I didn't hear it right, but he said, I'll meet you down there.
Yes, it did.
So people that really respect and support and believe, that's why they thought that Mexico was going to pay for the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They support him wholeheartedly,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what he does,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what he says. That's our president. And how many people? 68 million or
Mm-hmm.
something like that,
Mm-hmm.
people. And so he said it as they were celebrating in their little comfort zone. And he got the Bible upside down, going to the, anyway, probably reading from 1 Corinthians. And so it started.
Mm-hmm.
And these motivated people that were good people on both sides, patriots,
Mm-hmm.
went to defend their country.
Mm-hmm. Tucson, you're something. You're something else, Tucson. You are something else.
I'm just saying. So all the people that were on law enforcement, some politicians, they traveled and they moved according to what he was saying, and it started.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the guard that is a security violation. Clearly, you get him. You're supposed to be one of the most secure places in the world, in the country, if not. And not you don't guard the door. You open the door.
Mm.
You should be locked up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good deal.
How in the world, and I know I'm out of time, but how in the world did all of these protected rooms, you wind up with having somebody with their foot kicked up on the desk?
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. Lock him up.
Yeah.
Wow. Leonard?
I mean, I pretty much agree. The bill, what the bill tries to do is close these loopholes to keep anyone from stealing an election.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the role of the vice president in this, as well as everyone down to the person that delivers that particular mail, those votes,
Mm-hmm.
has to be regulated a lot tighter. The old law had a lot of holes in it, and anybody that wanted to could use one of those loopholes to do exactly what Donald Trump wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
But
so basically, he saw an opening.
of course, that's what a person does that really want to win by any means necessary.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we have to understand, and the bill itself is pretty much bipartisan. Both sides agree that something needs to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You have to remember that a lot of the Republicans who don't want to be involved with Donald Trump or anyone like Donald Trump are supporting this bill as well,
Mm-hmm.
because they see the damage it has done even to their party.
Mm-hmm.
And all the scrutiny that needs to be put. You can't have 2 or 3 people deciding who's going to be the United States of America, who's going to be the president of the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
And that the vice president should not have the authority to reject the vote from any state.
Yeah.
That's the way it is now.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Trump kicked Pence to the curb.
Yeah, sure did.
Because Pence would not reject votes from those states that did not go to Trump.
Wow. So you're just going to throw them away. They don't even count.
Just
Wow.
reject them. Completely reject them, discard. But see, let me tell you something. Sitting right down there in the capital of Georgia, Brian Kemp should never be president, and he should be in a jail somewhere. Anybody who tampers with the vote should almost get a life sentence, from my point of view. And you have to send a clear message to people that would try to do that. Because one thing them folks hate doing is going to jail. And that's what you see right now. Since when can you not show up when you subpoenaed?
Exactly.
Now you're in contempt of Congress. You should be under the jail by now. So we're dealing with that, but you have to have people in office where doing the right thing is their number one priority.
Mm-hmm.
And you just don't have it.
Yeah, that's true. 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. Anybody else have anything they want to say on this topic before we move on to the next one?
Yeah, right. Yes, right.
Go ahead.
Yes, I do, right. Because this Morning Glow program does a phenomenal job teaching folks what is really going on and being open and transparent. So first, let me say this. For the listeners, what you just heard a couple voices back was what they call deflection. It's political deflection. Why are we still talking about a people who was in office 20 years ago? Why are we still pointing that out? That was a deflection. That's number one. Number two, let's just clear up some real truths here. It has been proven that even down to the dossier, the Russian dossier, the original purchaser of the dossier and the original person to have the work done by Mr. Steele and those two MI6 agents was a Republican. His name was John McCain. The dossier was passed over to the Clintons when Hillary was running for office. So let's clear some things up. The Clintons did not initiate the dossier. That is a lie. It has been proven that that came from a Republican side. That's number one. Number two, we're going to go with what our naked eyes can see and what our weary ears can hear. Every single person that spoke against this man prior to him coming in office, while he was in office, every single person that initially spoke against this man was a Republican. All of the people who have been screaming at the top of their lungs outside of those on the Democratic side have been Republicans. Michael Steele is a Republican. Smirnovich is a Republican. Mitt Romney is a Republican. What's the two that's on the committee? They are Republicans. Everybody who has spoken out against this man and has some power, some real power, are Republicans. That's why you have what is called the law, not the log cabin. My fault. Let me correct that. That's why you have what is called the Lincoln. What is it called? What is that thing called, Leonard? The Lincoln
Project. Lincoln
the
Project.
Lincoln Project. That's why you have the Lincoln Project. The Lincoln Project is predominant. It's run by moderate Republicans. That's them, not Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
What bothers me, I mean, is when folks of their own party check and say, "Hey, nah, this is not conducive to what we got going on in America. This is not right. Nah, nothing about this makes sense. Nothing about this. This man was incompetent." When folks of their own side say it,
Mm-hmm.
you have this faction of people that's blaming the other party. It's the same thing, right? Like, how did you feel? I gotta ask, as Black people, how did y'all feel when this whole January 6th thing went off? And these people had to installed.
Mm-hmm.
The national TV and say to the public,
30 seconds, Curtis.
this is nothing but Antifa and Black Lives Matter.
Mm.
I want to know how y'all feel, because I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, huh? What do you think? Antifa,
Mm-hmm.
Black Lives Matter.
Mm-hmm.
Where they at, man? Where
Exactly.
they at? I didn't know Black Lives Matter had that many white folk in it, man. I didn't know it.
Wow.
I'm
And
just saying, right?
Hey,
let me keep this. Go ahead.
hey.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You know, all he's saying is so true. I tell you, I saw the whole thing. For some reason, I woke up just like I did 9/11. I woke up and seen the whole thing, and to me, I was calling people. I was calling, you know, a lot of y'all know me. I was calling a lot of brothers, say, well, the war has started. The Civil War is officially on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And guys listen to me say, oh, there ain't nothing going on up there. I said, what you talking about? They just doing what we supposed. I said, man, y'all crazy, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, history study, or you can look at the recent history in America and abroad. That was actually a civil war. You know, not even a civil war. They had breached the Capitol because it was thought unprofessional, right?
Mm-hmm.
What the war was inducing. But they breached the Capitol, and any country we seen take over, that's the first move. You go take over the legislature. The president is second class. You take over the legislature, the part produces the bills, and then the judges, and then the president. Then you throw the president or the leader rule that country out. The legislature is the key part. Those are the ones that produce the bills and the laws. Those are the ones that could create a constitution. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
These are what's important. When I seen that, I knew it was on. I thought it was over with. I thought we was at full break war. And another thing too, like the brother, the last person said, deflection. I have heard so many deflections about Hillary Clinton and the current president that it was crazy that you would even not consider what you're seeing right in front of your eyes, what's going on, and you would use all deflation and lies or the conspiracy theory about the current president, or completely misleading people that ran for president because they were Democrats. Then when I hear Democrats are like all this bureau thing about Democrats, and I'll hear about Republicans, and I said, this is crazy. I mean, don't you understand? Are you politically savvy enough to see what's going on right in front of your eyes, happening in your community, that you want to embrace these things, that you would talk about what Black Lives Matter did, the protest, and you forget about Charlottesville. You know what I mean? And you forget that a nonviolent protest is a nonviolent protest until the police interact.
Let me ask you a question, Ibrahim. Let me ask you a question. Two things I want to say, Ibrahim. Two things I want to say. One is we certainly not going to get on here and call each other lies. We're not going to do that. That's not what we do. That's not the picture that we have here. That's not. Listen, brother. Let me say what I'm going to say. You spoke. And the second part, I want to ask you the question. If you put both of those situations side by side, Charlottesville and January the 6th. Would you say both of them? Would you gauge them the same? Would you gauge them up on the same things, up on the same?
Yes, I would.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I would. It was a violent. Charlottesville was a violent protest planned and picked up, and they stated what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It was about white rights.
Mm-hmm.
It was about that. They thought they were being taken over when the majority of people in this country are Caucasians, and there's no minority large enough. Now, if you put every minority in the country together, we're still a minority against the Caucasians, right?
Wow.
We're like 53%, and they're like, well, we're not that. We're like 40-some%, and they're like 60-some%. Period. Mm-hmm. If you look at white Hispanics and white this and white that, they said years ago, back in that nobody jumped on, no black people I know of. They said this was a white country.
So white Hispanics, black Hispanics, Hispanics, and all of them, huh?
Yeah. But see, all together, we still would be the majority. If we were just to lump as one group of people of color, we would still be in a minority.
Okay.
Against white.
Hold on, Ibrahim. Your time is up, brother. Got to go to somebody else. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah. This is what this, and I'm just throwing this out there. This is just a thought. This is just a thought. Do you think the blacks, especially the blacks that are Republicans, do you think that if they did a civil war, if they started a civil war, do you think that these white folks gonna ask you or give a
doggone
flip, a flying flip? Did you say you Republican? Guess what's gonna happen? They're going to kill your behind, shoot you down on the street because you a Negro. They do not care that you are Republican. Do you not understand that? if there was a civil war to break out between blacks and whites, your Republican card will mean absolutely nothing. Anybody on here that's crazy enough to think that it will make a difference, you are mentally ill. And I'm sorry, Raheem, it's the truth. It's something wrong with you. You are a black man. That's all they're going to care about. They're going to shoot you because of the color of your skin, not because of your Republican card. Let's just be honest about it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Good deal. Good deal.
Can
Yes.
Can I speak a minute?
Go ahead.
Yes. My attempt in drawing the breakdown and enforcement of laws and disillusion of people connected with all these past things wasn't a deflection. I think the architects that organize this confusion and division among people, they keep enough current events and enough current crises ahead of you that if you focus on this, you don't connect the dots to all the other things that was a product of this being right here. It's all connected. It's not single. You have to deal with what's in front of you, but you got to see where the origins of it come from. So that was my tip, not deflection. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not even a black man. I don't know if my origins are from Native American culture here, but I know this, I'm a human being.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Okay.
what I am. No doubt about that.
Now, do you, Mr. Hicks, how do you view the situation in Charlottesville and the situation on January the 6th? Would you gauge the both of those on the same scale?
No, I think the incident in Charlottesville had a bigger impact for us as a people than what happened in Washington. That was a bunch of people from the same party, mostly all European and Caucasian, that was doing this thing. That's why the whole thing about what would have happened if it had been us, but it wasn't us.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't us in Charlottesville, but the whole intent of that whole thing was directly against us.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that was the issue. That was the get behind. That was should be some of the same kind of things with that issue, because it was then dealing with what you don't want to do. Critical race theory, although its application in middle schools and all that stuff is up to the whims of the teacher in front of them. They don't have a full knowledge of the intent. But I think that the fact that history is distorted is not true about us and our contribution and our suffering. So you got to hear it. So for me, they're balancing things on both sides that make sense. But I've always known that Democrats and Republicans are the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the same club. It's like going to the police department and getting involved in their culture. It's the same thing going to Washington, going to politics. You go into a system that have a culture, and you've got to fit in, or they're going to push you out. Like training day. You got to have a little dirt on you for anybody to trust you.
Wow, you got to be dirty for them to trust you. Wow. Leonard, what's on your heart? We got another caller that just called in. We're gonna go to that call as well in just a second. So caller, please be patient. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I think people need to do the right thing, period. If you ain't gonna do the right thing, I don't know what other word to put in there, because I usually put the F-bomb in there.
Yeah.
Because
Leonard,
what we're not gonna do is sit down and watch.
How do you view Charlottesville and January the 6th?
No, they aren't even related.
Mm-hmm.
The emotion, maybe, but that issue was about one of the things to remove those vestiges of the Civil War, and I believe it was about that statue.
Mm-hmm. It was.
And this is what black folks need to understand. There are white folks that are against white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
That's now when we're talking about civil wars deal with factions that actually have authority.
Mm-hmm.
And they're usually under the same constitution like we are. That's a civil war. We under the same constitution, but we so at odds that we take up arms. That Charlotte incident was a planned protest regarding the removal of a Confederate statue.
Mm-hmm.
All the people that ought to be in the jail somewhere were on that side that started that fight.
Mm-hmm.
But that didn't have nothing to do with our democratic process.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, we need to make that clear. We don't lump everything together like that, especially when we're trying to come up with solutions.
Exactly.
You have to assess things properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I say, Giving me heart medication ain't gonna help if my kidney's going bad.
Mm-hmm.
Heart medicine is for the heart. Kidney medicine
Mm-hmm.
is for the kidney.
Yeah.
You have to go to where the problem is. And if you think the only problem is being black or anything like that, you're missing the big picture. There are things going on that far exceeds race issues in the United States of America. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was legal to be racist here before. So let's not act like it wasn't that way.
Mm-hmm.
The Civil War is not a bunch of people getting together because they mad and fighting one another. That is not a civil war.
No.
That's a disagreement. That's a protest gone bad in Charlottesville. This was a planned attempt for insurrection on January the 6th that included people with the most authority in the United States of America.
That's right.
That can wage war. They have the tools and everything to do it. It's in their power to do it.
Yeah.
See, we can't just say every fight, you know, everybody want to think that they fight in the Civil War, but you're not. You're just fighting against what you don't like, what you disagree with. Civil War is like, that's why Lincoln is given so much credit. And people even still want to devalue his position in history as if he just dumb and this, that, and the other, and what he said don't matter or whatever. That was one of the bloodiest events, presidencies in American history. As far as it relates to us against ourselves, North against South.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a civil war. Not two people fighting in the park over a statue.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Somebody wanted to say something earlier.
Yeah. I have to disagree with what Leonard said. Just like purism, we use the word opinion. The word opinion is thrown around heavily here, and I think that we should look at the definition of that. We look at the definition of a civil war. In purism, it all got to be this, that, or the other thing. But I'm gonna tell you, civil war started off very, very mildly. Even though if you're a historian, but again, if I start talking about history, say that happened then. We're talking about the now. I'm called aloud, so things I wouldn't know. But civil war starts somewhere. It's a contention among people. It don't have to be parties. The Civil War started over a host of reasons: land and natural resources, and the control of the land and natural resources. Like if you understand Abraham Lincoln, he said he didn't want a civil war because he didn't want to break the union of the states together to fight against contentions abroad and local, right? In turn, that was the intention of the battle, not to have the battle. The Civil War didn't start off with the first explosion that happened down in South Carolina, the Bonaparte. It started before then, after they won California. If you understand history, read history, and know what Civil War is, right? It started the dissolution of the military to be part of the Union, dissolution of the Union, right? We started Civil War. And this is what we're seeing now on a modern day version scale, my opinion, right? Now that's an opinion, right? Now based on fact, right, which goes beyond an opinion, right? And the fact that I reiterated that this is a civil war. Charlottesville was a salvo of the Civil War because it was a definite separation of white supremacy allowed and unheld, not only just about the statues all over the state. The protest of Black Americans was a contention against those liberties being removed, about being treated differently. And we want to lump the protest of Black Americans in the same as we lump other protests, right? I think it's hilarious to me. And I don't call people out a lot because that's their opinion, right? But facts dictate differently. You see what happens. Now, if you want to call it a perspective, then I will agree with you. That's my perspective of what it was, right? But intelligence would tell a person, if you see something happening and you see the same trend, you remember there were other trends other than Charlottesville that related up to that. I went to one of those things. I went down here in Noonan, Georgia, to the Nazi protest. That's the first time I seen the federal police protecting them people. I seen attack helicopters over people, not just Black people. It was more white people out there against the protest than there were Black people. And to call these type of protests or anti-protests violent and ignoring the violent extremity that is being. I was at Stone Mountain not too long ago in the celebration of the memorial to the park and about the Ku Klux Klan. You know, I was one of the few black people out there that was against that was in the militant vein of that, right? You know, and this, if you understand reality of history of humankind, then you know these are salvos. These are really up to these things. This is a continuation of these things that people choose sides that know different. The Republicans that know different choose the side to kiss the ring, as they say.
Wrap it up, Ibrahim. Wrap it up for me.
You know.
Okay. Good.
You know, so my perspective is, and not an opinion, but the fact that I evaluate, right, shows me that we're in the throes of the Civil War. It's just that the actual battles are not happening yet on a scale that we consider a Civil War to be.
Okay, stay right there, Ibrahim. We got to keep it moving, brother. You way over your 3 minutes. Got to keep it moving. Leonard, read this here for me, brother.
Hey,
the Charlottesville protests consisted of some of the same groups that were at the January 6th insurrection. Their slogans were similar. They espoused to the Great Replacement Theory. Trump espouses to the Great Replacement Theory. Dylan Roof and the White.
We got to go to the side to read the rest of it on Indiana. Yeah.
Okay, let me go here. And who killed the people in Dylan Roof and the white man who killed the people in Buffalo recently. The fear of some white folks fear the loss of political and economic power in this country to a multiracial segment of America.
What do you say to that?
Yes, that's the Great Replacement Theory in a nutshell, and a lot of people who agree with that type of thinking. And that's what they think. That's the other side.
Good deal. Good deal.
I'm not on that side, you know.
Got you. Let me go to my sister. She just came in. I certainly don't want to ignore her and let her know that I do know that she's here. Toya with a T. Good morning, young lady. How you doing this morning? Toya, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Brother Pete, what are you hearing, brother? Good morning to you.
How y'all doing this morning? I was trying to grasp the full question. I'm hearing the conversation, but I don't know what the question was.
Well, we veered all to the place where it was said that the Charlottesville and January 6th were on equal planes. They were the same, and the intent, everything was the same. Both were very violent, and all kind of stuff is being said. But what do you think about the two? He said, Leonard.
Individuals with their perspectives
and
feeling like they have the right to express themselves. When we talk about the Charlottesville, predominant white nationalists, white supremacists, white-minded groupings of individuals called to, protest a issue or two and express themselves and have a fraternal rally. And, the lowest of the low and the herd mentality just got wild and they fully expressed themselves. January 6th, they bum rushed the state capitol doing a confirmation hearing and wanted to stop the hearing. Now, I always try to throw a twist to that and say, let's look at it from a standpoint of where they saying, let's bum rush the house because it's the people's house, to just add a different perspective. But these are individuals who actually tried to stop a process of a function of the government. So that's a problem. That's a major issue, and for it to be the seat of the government, and for it to go down the way it went down, and it just it was something bad. It just didn't make a lot of sense. I don't understand how you can surround the building and the protection for safety and civility seem to be lacking drastically. So that makes no sense. And knowing the setup of DC, I don't know how many of us have actually gone to DC since 9/11, but DC is like a security zone.
Yes, it is.
I mean, you can't just walk up at DC anymore. You're going through checks and clearances and all type of stuff just to get into the District of Columbia. It's a security zone. So how did all these people get up there? And where was the security? I mean, if Obama or somebody jump over the fence to the White House, you know, it's helicopters, planes, and all type of stuff in a matter of moments. It should be. So what happened?
Mm-hmm.
So we're seeing the overall imbalance, the lack of functioning, the offense, and the trampling over the standard of law and process and procedures. We're just seeing a whole. It looks like a dismantling and a trampling
Mm-hmm.
of this whole society, and the structure is definitely being challenged.
Exactly.
But it looks like it's being trampled at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. But
Mm-hmm.
you know, these individuals who feel like they have something, they're entitled to something, it's theirs, they have more, all of that. We're going to have that with the way the society has been structured from formation.
Mm-hmm.
So
30
these type of
seconds.
mentalities should
Mm-hmm.
be expected.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where social engineering and stuff is so important. It should come into play to really fulfill the mission and statement of what it is.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
You know,
That's good. That's good, brother. That's good. Badger, good morning, sir. What's on your heart?
Oh man. Are you talking about the 2017 Charlottesville incident?
Yes.
There's so much mixed feelings when it comes to the Confederate stuff. You got some that honestly just view it as standing against the American flag and the corporations that honestly sees no hatred in it whatsoever. And then you've got those like the KKK who fly, or those neo-Nazis that fly the rebel flag and the American flag.
Mm-hmm.
But it's always talked, only one flag's always talked about, which I never understood. If you're going to get mad at one, get mad at the other two. And the other crazy thing is there is a law that the federal FBI is supposed to uphold. If it's a hate group or a gathering, especially if murder happens, like the girl that died, they're supposed to go investigate it and take it out. They ain't doing it, are they?
Mm.
So the issue I've always had with this whole Confederate thing is, if you're going to tear down all the Confederate stuff, then let's go tear down Abraham Lincoln's monument. Let's go tear down George Washington's monument. Don't fly an American flag either, because they're still doing all that racism and systematic separation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to be mad at one, just be mad at it all.
Yeah.
Where I just don't understand the logic.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If anyone could explain to me in a logical way why this isn't okay, but what the American government supported, all the things the American flag, flew over, and the
30
issues
seconds.
that we're still dealing with today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What is honestly the difference between the Confederate States in quotation marks versus the United States government? Honestly.
Wow. That's a heck of a question, brother. That's a heck of a question. Anybody want to tackle that one? Okay.
One thing we have to get clear. I'm going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't stand for nothing, you ain't nothing. It was several issues involved in the Civil War that would have completely destroyed the entire nation. The South was wrong. The South was inhumane. Everything about the Confederates should be destroyed. They lost. Those things that were pushed by the Confederate government system were completely anti what we do now here in this union. So that's why it's so important to understand the difference between Charlottesville and January the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we have laws right now against secession from the American government, all these types of things. Because what is more important is the union of the North and the South. Those that supported the South supported those things like slavery, all types of things. And they were intending to push it all over the United States further west. I believe what it was, it William Jefferson or somebody who led the southern part of the United States, I believe his name was.
Yes.
That was his goal. They had an outcome. They had a plan. So we have to understand, we talking about they just the same, they just the same. No, they're not. Stop saying that, because they're not. That is untrue. There's no reason to fight when you have the same values. There's no reason whatsoever to fight. You're friends. You treat each other fairly. You're so nice to one another. Boom. Everybody's good. Everybody wasn't good back then. That's why you had to have a war. You don't have a war with people that agree on the same thing. If you're fighting for what reason? Because you have a disagreement.
Opposition. Yep.
There's opposition.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't understand why people just throw that under the rug like it don't matter.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. 508. Again, give it a number 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Captain, anything on your heart?
I think
Reject some we are.
I think
Hold on. Go ahead, Captain.
Leonard represented intelligence and how he addressed that. I
Captain, you there?
Can you hear me?
Captain, you there? Yes,
I can hear you.
Cutting out.
Yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
hear you now.
I was saying, I think Leonard, in representing that issue, I don't have a whole lot of knowledge even that he was breaking down the difference between trade winning, that you cannot compare apples with oranges. They just two different circumstances that created two different outcomes. Charlottesville right now, they ain't bringing nobody to justice on Charlottesville, but I think it has. So I think we need to be very clear on and understand it. I understood, and this, I could be wrong. Right, was because of us. South had amassed a lot of wealth off of the backs, and they had a certain swag that they was not going to follow of the North. Thinking if he could have preserved the Union and kept Black people in slavery, we would have never been free. We were the tools, or we was the by which they used to bring about that war. You break the slave trade. South was making money, which was us. You broke the South. And so the Civil War was about us. I don't know no other reason why they was fighting. That's my opinion. But again, we have to really be a war. You know, that's a nation. That's a nation fighting itself. That's civil war. We have civil war in the Black community. Black people warring against Black people. To me, that we had a battle. We had a battle with non-violence. We battled people who want to break the peace. So the Black community is at war with itself. So that doesn't have anything to do with the big war. No, when a nation fighting its own self, and when the people fighting its own self, I think that's the closest you can stand it with civil war means. So I think Leonard did a great job. I just don't know how to open up about this January the 6th. I'm really, but that's my opinion.
Good deal. Good deal.
And before you move on, Raheem, I want to throw one at with Captain Dennis is what he said. And this is a great example of people who believe that it's the same group. Where the pro-slavery Negroes at? Where they at? Please call us. 924-3521.
Mm-hmm.
One black man that supports slavery.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. We don't do it like that. Hold on for a minute. Go ahead, Leonard.
I was finished, but we need to, because of people talking about what's the difference between a Confederate statue and the statue of Frederick Douglass, Ida B. Wells. One big difference is the Confederate statue is a wicked white racist. That's the difference.
Okay, Ibrahim, you wanted to say something? Give me real quickly, brother, because I got a lot of people on here. I got to circle around.
But there's a misnomer. There's a misnomer that war is fought over ideology or differences of opinion. There has never been a war fought in the history of the Europeans that's not been over land and natural resources. There's never been a war that I know of, history dictates, that wasn't fought over land and natural resources and control of them. And just like he said, it was fought over slaves. It wasn't fought over slaves. It was fought over resources of slaves. It was fought over resources of labor, a paid labor, a non-paid labor, which was more expensive as far as the North was concerned. But it was fought over that. The American Revolution was fought over land and natural resources, the control thereof. Now you show me one war, and in an intelligent way and with fact that was fought over religion, that was fought over difference of opinion. You know, it's fought over land and natural resources and control of that. And at that time, slavery, human beings was a natural resource. You know what I mean? They produce upon the land. That's why slaves were brought here. They were intelligent. They were intelligent people to produce resources.
Ibrahim, let me ask you a question. Like I said, I got a lot of people that hadn't touched yet. I've been to you several times, so I got to be fair to everybody else, man. So my thing is, you say that it's not based on a difference of opinion. There's never been a war that's been fought for a difference of opinion. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
That's what I'm saying. I stand by fact.
Okay. If you got a brand new car, Ibrahim, I'm coming to get your car, man. I'm coming to get that car. Okay. I'm coming to pick your car up. You don't want me to get your car. It's your car. You don't want me to take it. Do we have a difference of opinion?
No, we have a difference of resources. The resource, you pick it up, I didn't pay for it, I parked it wrong.
Wow.
That's a resource. The car is a resource. It's not a difference of opinion.
That's
the law would dictate.
Wow. Okay, Ibrahim. Okay, Ibrahim. Okay, so now I got to mute, you see. But my thing is right here. Wow. Okay, brother. That's the way you feel. I don't give anybody their opinion. Your opinion just seemed at this point to be just a little bit different from mine. But that's okay. And let me see who I got next. Who? Toussaint, what's on your heart, brother? Talk to me.
I got a lot, but I've learned to keep my mouth shut.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a superintendent, and he would use this as a benediction. He'd say, "Repeat after me, Lord, help me keep my mouth shut until I know what I'm talking about." So I don't know, because there are some things that we can clearly see, and it's evident. You don't need to go look at it in a book. You have people right there on the scene, and it's happening right before your eyes. And somebody will still say, "That's not what you see."
Yeah, exactly.
That's not it. That's not it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at facts and opinions and research and truth, and gotta be careful about how I say something, because this is a Christian broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes,
thank you, sir.
It just makes me feel like sometimes I'm looking at it, and I may say, "Okay, this is evident. It's evident." And somebody look at me right in the eye, looking at the same thing I'm looking at, and they say, "You don't know what the hell you talking about."
Hey. Because Sandra done rubbed off on you, Lord Jesus. Let me move on. Go on. You know where you're going.
Come over there with me because I'm finna come over there too. Don't worry about it, too, son. I'll be over there with you in a minute.
Toya with a T, good morning, sis. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, y'all. How y'all there?
Hey, doing good, doing good. So I came to you earlier, but I think you had to step away for a second. You're probably getting ready for work or something. So I didn't charge you for that one. Okay.
Yeah, I'm en route. I'm in transition right now.
What are you hearing this morning? Toya, talk to me. Toya with a T. What are you hearing this morning?
So, well, let's talk about this Confederate. What's the difference between the American and the Confederate?
Mm-hmm.
So, why would you want to put a statue of Jeffrey Epstein up just because he's an American? The statues are torn down because of what they represent. The Confederate flag has gone away because we have transitioned from trying to be so barbaric. Sometimes we can't tie in your personal actions with America.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what some of these white supremacists do.
Mm-hmm.
They are domestic terrorists. That's what they were with the Confederacy. They were domestic terrorists who were not trying to fall in line with what the written documentation we have of a constitution. Even though there are some clauses in there for Black people, they were still trying to adjust and form some type of liberty and start being humane and start to recognize the era of humanity's ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the Confederacy did not really fall in line with that, even though the past history of man allowed slavery. Even if humans represented the Christian faith wrongfully, slaughtering people, think about Paul, talking about in a Jesus name, we learned the era of our ways. God delivered us from some things. So therefore, some things we cannot no longer align with. But that's the difference, the barbaricism with the conspiracy, and especially towards Black people and the Confederacy. So that is a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That is why we change and we move things forward, because we don't want to represent that anymore. So don't hold what it really supposed to be. What America really supposed to be, you know, the drink, that's what it really supposed to be, but there's people inside of this place, domestic terrorists. That makes it challenging. But don't get it twisted. Don't knock America, because we still live here.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Every scrap, every minute, every fight we got going on is still a liberty here that, of course, in some of these other places, please stop. They ain't even got no disability for you to even want to be mad over.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just be 100. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So we got to stop that first and foremost. This is about being united. I'm still an American, and yes, we still got some growing to do, especially when it comes to people of my complexion. So let's move forward and stop acting like the conspiracy, the Confederacy didn't have a conspiracy against just us. And that's what we don't have it anymore.
Exactly.
So moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
As
Joseph Wheeler.
Yes, that's my 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I appreciate you, sis. I'm gonna read. As a matter of fact, I think this brother's here. We got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from?
Joseph Wheeler.
Joseph, good morning,
Good
sir.
morning, Brother Wheeler.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, family. I love your show.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yes.
What's on your heart this morning?
Yes, you know, today's Confederates, the neo-Confederates, don't talk about the fact that those people that took up arms against this country during the Civil War had to go through amnesty to get back into the Union. They were not allowed to hold office, political office. It was very disgraceful. And they were treated so to some degree. Of course, when Abraham Lincoln died, his successor went light on them. I think Abraham Lincoln would have been a little more radical, or at least he probably been pulled more toward the radicals' agenda, and even he probably would have even given more land to the African Americans. We probably would have had reparations too, had he lived. If you go back and read what he said about the sword not ceasing until every drop of Negro blood was was paid for. It's a very, very powerful and dramatic thing. I wish I had the quote in front of me, but it was very disgraceful act of what the Confederates did, and for now to have statues raised and to try to resurrect the old South, as they say, the South's going to do it again, which they are doing again through the Republican Party. You got to give them credit for that. That is happening right under our noses. But we can't validate. There's no way to validate them, and the majority of Americans cannot afford to validate them.
Yeah.
That's all I had to say.
Good deal. And definitely appreciate you, brother. I know you've been watching for a minute, man. And you've been commenting and stuff like that. Definitely appreciate that, man. It's an honor to have you on with us, man. Thank you for joining us. And you're more than welcome. You're more than welcome, man, to join us as often as you like, man. I'll definitely like your input. Let me say this before we go. Absolutely. Let me say this before we go further. There's a storm going on right now, and the lights have flickered here a couple of times. So if the power goes out, we're gonna lose everything. But I just want to let y'all know that there is a storm going on right now, man. And hopefully we're gonna be able to make it through to the end. I'm sure y'all gonna hear that thunder in the background. Oh, y'all can't hear it? Okay, good deal. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Man, I can't complain, man. I'm just grateful that the Creator blessed me with the chance to experience another beautiful day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, Rico, have you been listening to us?
Yeah, off and on.
Okay. What's on your heart about this whole situation we're talking about? And we're going to move on to another topic. I really didn't want to stay on this as long as we did, but there's a lot of meat here, man. But what's on your heart, Rico?
I think I heard y'all talk about the insurrection here and later on today first, and then I heard the comments of the question of, was the Civil War about slavery? Was that the question? Or was that just the comments? Is that the way I perceive the question because of the comments?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, so what was the question? Because I don't even want to get into that how that got distracted into whatever it was about.
Well, we was talking about the Charlottesville, the situation that happened in Charlottesville, and they were saying that it was said that that's the same that happened in January the 6th. And there was a comparison there. So how do you link those two together, if you can at all, or are they just totally different?
I think they're totally different, but at the same time, it's still, they were affiliated with the same groups. I think Trump and Bolden knows at Charlottesville, but those were more about white nationalists. And then I think January 6th was more about the election. I think that's what that was about. Charlottesville was more about white. I want to say white power, but they're gonna say about the rise of white males because they've been shunned. They in the council culture, I guess. You know what I'm saying? So they're saying that they're being replaced. If you notice what they were saying, you will not replace us. So they're using that as propaganda. They're speaking against, I guess, the LGBT community, the ethnic community, the different races that are progressing. That is really the main reason behind white supremacy, is the control and dominance and to maintain their privilege on the pedestal that they had, the system that they created. So now that you see that some of these positions that were always white only, they're starting to look more diverse. They're starting to look more American. But at the same time, some of these white people are feeling like they were being replaced. And to a certain extent, they are. They need to be replaced, but they fight. That's what the devil does. He fights. So I think that's what the situation is with that Charlottesville. I think Charlottesville was more of about a racial pride thing and a white male gender pride thing, white male superiority type of thing, subliminally. And then I think January 6th was more about just trying to control the government, trying to control the government for people that supported Trump and all of those people that believe in his ideology, or the conservative ideology. So I think they were two different things. Both were bad. Honestly, I think both should have, I'm gonna say there should have been charges pressed in that Charlottesville besides of the one where the guy hit the woman. But there should also be charges in January 6th. But definitely there should have been some in Charlottesville. But they do have a right to assemble as long as it's peaceful and not violent. The violent person did get arrested that I know of. Now I heard there were other instances of violence, and they wasn't getting treated like they were the Black Lives Matter protesters. But you know, we know this is America, and that's how bias works. I see Captain Dennis and Leonard and Badge on there. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Bob. I think he cut out for a moment.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I
That storm brother got him.
I kind of want to be a little bit more clear, as I was thinking how I said it, and I do not think I came across as clear as I wanted to be. So, due to my background and my ancestry and my understanding of everything that's happened in this country, it's hard for me from time to time to see a difference between the South and the Union. You know, I still see the American government, you know, doing some nasty things to Native Americans, you know, my brothers, that part of my heritage, and still getting away with it. So there are good things that have been done by the American government, like health care and, you know, making sure insurance is available and all that stuff. Yet it's hard. It's almost, to me, my view is 50-50. As long as there's still some of those racist, hateful human beings in seats of power, I still have a hard time separating ideologies. I don't know if that made it more clear.
Okay.
Let me help you, Badger. Had the South won,
Hey, I'm
all of
back
your
now.
family would be dead.
Mm.
I'm not saying the South should have won either.
Okay.
Now I think what he's saying is that it's still hidden in the North. It just wasn't as pronounced. So the deception is, or the illusion that we've been living under, is that the South was all pure and they were just completely against racism and slavery, and nobody in the North was all for it. You get what I'm saying? When really and truly you had some of those in the North that were only being what they call politically correct. Some of them did
Thank you.
participate in it. Some of them did still support it, but they may have voted on behalf of what their constituents stood for. So I get what he's saying, is that we don't need to have this illusion or live under this delusion that the North was just all ready to end slavery, when really and truly it was a great number of people up there that felt the same way.
Okay. I'm trying to get my can y'all hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, good
Yes,
deal.
sir.
I'm trying to get the phone lines back up. Toya, can you hear me? I think we're having some issues with the phone line here. I have to probably log out, then log back into the phone line. But let me see. If I do that, it's probably gonna disconnect everybody, and hopefully they'll call back in. Yeah, but where are we, man? I told y'all that their power was going bad, man, and it hit me.
Badger was trying to clear up the comments he had made before the power went out, when he last spoke.
Okay. And what was that particular comment? Catch me up to speed, because I missed it.
Well, thankfully for Rico, he said the words that I was trying to figure out how to say.
Mm-hmm.
In a nutshell, for me, being able to see a difference between the Union and the Confederacy gets blurry, gets hard. You know, having the Native American background, doing a lot of the history and stuff like that, and research that I've done, I've seen a lot of American policies that hurt people of other races.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess a better way to say it is, I still see America
There are
halfway
4
similar
participants in the conference.
to.
Please announce yourself.
Go ahead.
Completely.
Hey, Curtis, hold on. We back, Curtis. Hold on one second, brother. I'm gonna pull everybody back in. Go ahead, Badger.
Well, essentially, to me, we're still having to deal with voting rights. We're still having to deal with just a bunch of hateful human beings. So it's just hard for me to see a difference sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. There's a lot there, man. And Leonard, what did you say to it?
Well, one, this is what I want. If anybody has a blurred vision about what was going on, what side would you have been on?
Mm-hmm.
Ask yourself that question. What side would you have been on?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know exactly what side I would be on.
And the question is the North and the South. What side would you
pick
have?
a side.
Okay.
Since they was the same, pick a side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay. Captain, what do you say to that?
Well, that's a no-brainer. At least I think it's a no-brainer. How Leonard, but you know, Badger, he constantly speak from and hurt, and I can hear that every time I ask him a question. You know, he represents the Native American community, and we appreciate that. His brother Leonard, if the South would have won, there wouldn't have been no Native American community or Black community. Period. And that's what Brother Rico said, which was made very sense. Yeah, don't sleep the North. Racist people you find is in the North. I heard Don Elijah Muhammad say these words, Southern white man. At least he's honest. This is how he feel about you. While the North, he hides. He feels the same way, but he won't say it. He do it by his way of it. So we, but if we had to pick a side, like Leonard said, I mean, we definitely go. But there's a whole lot with that. You know, you come up north, you ain't running away. You running away. They was getting away from physical servitude. To my brother Abraham, who talked about resources. You know, the shit. You double back on your own word. Yes, Black people, the slave was the net. That was the resource. There wasn't no other resource than the Blacks. That was the product of the South, was their resource. It wasn't cotton. It wasn't cotton. That was the South's resource. So the war was fought, which was the slave. You take away the resource, you broke the South. Cotton still growed up in the South, but they ain't got no free labor. And the wealth that gave the South the kind of testicles to stand up against the North didn't like that. They said, well, we got to break that kind of arrogance. So, I mean, that's what distorted in my history.
Okay.
But really, that's what I understood. I mean, he fought over ideas and ideologies and religion. They fought them. I don't know about all that. Maybe they did. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. I knew they fought. And Abraham Lincoln, if he could have a union and kept us enslaved, if he could have kept white folks united and kept us enslaved, we'd still be enslaved. Now, I ain't gonna say it like that, but that was the purpose. It was white, and he wanted to unite the daggone country. So that's honest. Now, buff. Now, Abraham, you're a history buff, and nobody gonna question your history. You're just gonna say, as you say, that's my opinion.
Got you. We're gonna shift over because, like I said, we can stay here on the whole broadcast. I want to touch a couple of other topics as well. If anybody have anything very briefly, and I say very briefly, not 3 minutes and stuff like that, but very briefly, that they would like to say on this topic, you can say so now.
Yeah, because I did have that conversation before I came on there. I do want to say that sometimes it can be all of the above. We don't just have to pick one reason of why a war was started. That was more than one reason why the World Trade Centers came down. There were numerous people benefited from the World Trade Center coming down. It's hard to believe that people benefited from that. But in most of these instances, you have corporations that also benefit. You have so many different people benefited. It ain't never just one solid reason, So he did double back on himself, and I sort of hate that the conversations continue to go that way because it didn't have to sound like a disagreement. He did say that it was about resources and natural resources, and we are a word of natural resource. And the thing about it is you have to put some logic to that. See, political correctness won't say it was about slavery. But when you realize that these millionaires in the South that became the fastest growing population in the world, much less the country, they sold that resource of cotton cheaper than everybody. They could afford to sell that resource, cotton and cane sugar. They could afford to sell it around the world cheaper than everybody because the labor was free.
Yeah.
And without that free labor, they couldn't have sold it cheaper. So the North said, well, hold on, we can't even produce that type of cotton. We don't even have the soil for it. So we don't even have a need for those slaveries. But this industrialism thing, oh my goodness, when industrialism hit, that made slavery pretty much obsolete. But the slave masters in the South didn't want to industrialize. They didn't want to progress because they had something that worked. And if it wasn't broke, why fix it?
Exactly.
So the North said, well, you know, we got a chance to be millionaires too. We got an opportunity. Let's push this issue. And at the same time, says everything is about economy too. And the South and the North was divided. Let's go against what's making them in the South rich.
Good deal. Good deal. Let's
Human
keep moving.
beings are not natural resources, Raheem. We need to make that clear. Human beings are not natural resources.
When somebody use you like one you are,
they ain't but 10 natural resources. So let's make that separation. This is why we had to change the
that's your
Constitution.
opinion.
Human beings are not natural resources by
That's your
nature
opinion.
of the definition of natural resources.
Okay.
But nothing
Hold on.
natural about going to a country, stealing people, and bringing them over here and putting them in slavery. Ain't nothing natural about it.
Okay.
Well-
Let's keep this. Hold on.
Well,
Hold on. Who's that?
this Kurt, man.
Go ahead.
According to economics and classes, I gotta say this. If you take economics, I think it's Echo 100, Echo 101. One of the first lessons you learn in Echo 101, Echo 100 is the greatest natural resource on the planet is human beings. That's what you learn. All right. The actions of how you treat a human being is, I think, what we continuously look over. Me and Goddess was having a powerful conversation when it went down. And although it appeared that we was disagreeing, we was also agreeing in the same process. See, my thought is, as long as you nuke down slavery and the Civil War to it just being about, Rico made a very valid point when he said we got to understand it could be all of the above, right? Because when you just nuke it down to it just being about economics and resources, what happens, in my honest opinion, is you negate the actions of it being about economic and resources, meaning there's no accountability. A person can say, and I'm pretty sure we've heard this several times, the justification for killing blacks is, well, they're here to take our jobs. They're here to rape our women. Right? That's the justification for killing blacks, for killing Latinos, for killing Indians. That's the justification, right? So the people who hearing that is saying, oh, they're here to take something from me. So it is justified in me killing them.
Exactly.
It
Wrap
is
it up for me,
justified
Curtis.
in me doing this. So all I'm saying is that if we nuke it down to just those two things, we can look and find a yay or nay on in both opinions. However, what we do is we remove the accountability of the actions of slavery.
Good
That's
deal.
all I'm saying.
Good
And
deal.
Raheem,
Yes.
that guy that gave that Lincoln quote, if he's still listening, I would highly recommend that all of us, I have a copy of it at my house, but all of us get this book. It's called Abraham Lincoln Quibbits, Quotes, and Quotations. And you'll see the manifestation of Lincoln from his days of young all the way up into his death.
Okay. Good
And
deal.
you
Good
can
deal.
see the manifestation, and you'll understand why he was assassinated.
Okay, good deal. And we're gonna keep this thing going. As a matter of fact, we're gonna shift over to another topic, man. And we really going to revisit this right here on Friday. We're gonna revisit this particular topic we're talking about right now on Friday. So everybody do the research and get all the facts together, and let's revisit this thing again on Friday. But right now, Cassandra.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna start it off with you. I know you don't like when I do that. That's why I do it. You my sister. I gotta.
I know.
But I'm gonna ask you the question. In this rat race that we live in today, everybody's always out there trying to come up, trying to get that bag, if you will. And a pastor said one time, he said a lot of times people don't care how good you're doing, as long as you're not doing better than them. So in this rat race that we're in, what are we really chasing?
Well, a lot of people are just chasing the dollar. They live just to chase the dollar. And I mean, and that's fine. Whatever floats your boat, whatever you feel like it makes your life worth living, that's fine. But for me, I'm chasing after equality for everybody, justice for everybody. So I'm chasing after different things, and we all have different things that we're going after. For me, it's not about money. Never has been and never will be.
Yeah.
It's about seeing people being treated equally across the board. Justice being done equally across the board. So that's what I chase after on a daily basis. Do what I do.
Good deal. Good deal. God is good morning. How you doing this morning? God, is you there?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Good deal. Good deal. What are we really chasing in this whole rat race situation? Everybody always trying to go out there and come up and blah, blah, chasing the bag or whatever, just to make themselves look a little better and more advanced or whatever the case. What are we really chasing though? If you scratch all this other stuff out, what are we chasing, Goddess?
What we're actually really chasing is you have two different people. You're gonna have two different people, and until the other person realizes there's a frequency of a universal frequency that people should be on. So when you're on two different frequencies, depends on what you're chasing. For one, you got higher vibrating folks and you got lower vibrating folks. Those that are lower this is how I say it. Those that are lower vibrating folks are after what's going on in the world. However, higher vibrating folks are what's dealing with the universal of life. So that determines to me what defines who you are, and you could break it all the way down to music. You could break it all the way down because see, a lot of people don't know that our words, if you look in the beginning of the world, our words manifest. Our words are a manifest. And so when, the word spelling, we are the people who can manifest because of who we are. And so we have not learned that our words can manifest whatever we bring out. And that's why the white man knows that. That's why they turn around and changed all the rap to negative and won't produce anything that's conscious. And so, at first everything was conscious, and they realized, hey, them words is they bringing the black people coming together, and this is getting scary, and so they made sure that the rap turned into a negative, and so we were calling our people negative things, and so we're manifesting the wrong negative things, and we're listening to the wrong negative things. So our words become the manifest. So they didn't realize that we are that carbon, that melon, all that. That's part of the universe. And that goes back to what we kind of said, that we were natural resources. Well, we are, because our bodies are part of that carbon, it's part of that oxygen, it's part of that. I mean, we are built up of all that.
Good deal. 30 seconds, sis. You got 30 seconds. Go ahead.
So I mean, you know, it depends on who. I mean, what you feel like who you are, integrity, what you built on. So that all those is key, and that's all I got to say.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain, what are we really chasing?
Well, we chasing peace. I think that's what we chase. At least that's what I'm chasing. You know, that's the ultimate goal for any human being, is to find peace, security, mind, oneness with God. I mean, I think that's regardless of class, creed, or color. Now, there's other people that may have a chase. They maybe just chasing money. I've learned that, you know, in a damn sure, darn sure don't bring happiness. You know, a fool and his money will soon depart.
Absolutely.
I think that what people should chase is they should chase peace, which is God. You can only, once you found God. I have not met no human being, maybe met them, that have found peace without God. You know, I just haven't met them. That they're all in the same. So I think today young people have a different pursuit. They definitely have a different pursuit than what we have. Our youth have a different pursuit, is that we have not given them look like. If I never know what peace, and you make me think I can never tell me the only time I can get to heaven is when I'm dead, then why should I live? I mean, when time I can get heaven is when I'm dead. You mean to tell me I can get it while I'm living? You know, people that have a resemblance of heaven, I may not be heaven, to live a lifestyle that gives me certain quality of peace. I'm right now. I know there's an ultimate heaven, but I ain't turning down no heaven on earth. Heaven on earth. And you can get hell right on earth. So that's what if you ask them what I'm chasing, or if you ask them what the world chasing, I tell them chasing. Thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger, what are we really chasing?
I hope equality.
Now, that may be what you're chasing. I'm talking about as a whole, or what do you think everybody's chasing?
I think a majority of people are chasing money. Or searching for purpose. And I think the purpose is going to depend on which group of people you're talking about. You got those that are very greedy. You got those that are searching for a religion or belief. You've got folks that hold on to the past and haven't let it go. Like, so to me, there's to say that there's one, I can't say that. I see too many different. I see a faceted amount of things that folks are chasing. I mean, there's people still fighting for equality. Across the board, for women, for races, for voting rights, like. And then there's people that are scared of it because they think they're going to lose. Like, that just feels like a complicated question, because it literally boils down to who you speak to.
Yeah, it does. It does. Good point. Willa!
Hey, Ryan. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Good morning, sis. I need to ask you a question. What are we really chasing?
Well, trying to answer a question for the totality of the universe is really hard because everybody is chasing something different in life. But what we should be chasing is the purpose of life. The purpose, why are we here? How did we get here? Our purpose on living. If you want to just answer that question from a totality of everybody's thinking, but that ain't the way we all are thinking. So I would say that we should be chasing our purpose in life. So that's what I believe.
Good deal.
Right here. Because I had, before you told Badger, not yourself, everybody, I had so different answers.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's the thing. I want to open up the scope and not just personal answers. I want as a whole, what do we think everybody is chasing? Rico, so what do you say to that, Rico? What's on your heart, brother?
I agree with her, man. I was thinking about the fulfilling life experience. Once you know that everybody is born and they have to die, you want to make sure that this experience during your time of that process is the best possible. So what I can say is that in general, us human beings, bacteria, we are all behavioral addicts. We ain't no different than crack fiends and heroin addicts. We all got some type of thing that we crave, or desire, or addicted to that we prefer, and we sacrifice other things to get to. Sometimes it's money, sometimes it's sex, love, gambling, you name it. I looked it up yesterday. I was trying to find out the word, and the word is behavioral addictions. And we all are behavioral addicts. Some of us are addicted to politics. But the thing is I think that we are mainly trying to do what makes us feel good at the moment.
Wow.
Even though we know we're supposed to have a purpose, and even though we know we're supposed to be looking forward to a heaven, but it's something about when you get in that moment and you got a choice to make, you might do what make you feel good. You might drink that liquor, or you might holler at that woman, and you ain't supposed to be hollering at her.
Basically what I'm hearing you say, and correct me if I'm wrong, I could certainly be off base. What I'm hearing you say is we are actually, in essence, chasing that high, whatever that high is for us.
What makes us feel good, happiness, joy. We are whatever temporarily makes us feel good, or what makes us feel good at that moment. That's what we're living for.
Wow. Tucson, talk to me, brother. What are we really chasing? That's good.
Yeah. When you start chasing or doing something consistently so long, it's like a first fix. You just got to keep getting that high. And we have gotten so off track that it ain't about a dollar. We chasing that dollar. We didn't sacrifice our family and everything else, morals, values, and everything else, because we like, and I don't like to use the expression crackhead, but if there was ever crackheads, it's the American dream.
Yeah.
We searching for it. Don't even know what it is. It's a lie anyway. Dreams and nightmares. But we keep going at it. We're fiending. You ever saw somebody fiending? They up at night.
Yeah.
I saw a guy with 11 o'clock at night. He had a screen door on his shoulder.
Good Lord.
Trying to get it. And that's what we're trying to do. Our children looking at us, and we think they're crazy. They think we're crazy. We're the crazy ones.
Yeah.
Because we brought them to this part. We can't blame them for the conditions of the society that we're raising them in. What are we chasing?
Yeah.
I don't even know no more. I just get up every day in the morning, grateful, and try to do it again.
Yes, sir.
I run into the same thing. And matter of fact, you got people chasing after. They show up to do a work every day and raise sane about not getting it, not doing it. And then they wonder why it's not done.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And I know I'm just about 2 more seconds, but every entity in this society from the church to unorganized crime or organized crime, we doing the same thing.
Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Captain, talk to me, man. What are we really chasing as a whole? Not individually, but as a whole. What do you think people are chasing?
I don't know. You might as well move to the next person. I don't know what y'all chase. I ain't chasing nothing. I do what I want, when I want, how I want.
God almighty.
I don't feel indebted to nothing or nobody. I am just being free. That's what I'm doing. So I'm not caught up in all this other American dream, whatever that may be. I don't know. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. How about that?
So
life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Can you find it? Can you obtain it?
Hopefully, I will. There's a path. I'm on a path, and I ain't running. I ain't chasing nothing. I'm on a path to move to the cessation of my suffering.
Now, let me ask you a question. Does that path change every day? Because every day has its own struggles.
No, it does not. See, when you have direction, you go that way. Now, if you all,
let's deal with from that angle. Do the direction ever change?
No.
Okay.
No. It's all about happiness and the cessation of my suffering.
Okay.
And I hope to meet people along the way that are on the same path. But the notion that we just foul and rotten and it ain't worth nothing, I can't get down like that, bro.
Okay. Would you agree with me when I say that not everybody have the same ideology?
Yes, that's true. No, everybody don't. That's why I don't mess with everybody and I don't agree with everybody. Because I got my own thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm an individual to the heart of the matter.
Got you. Toya with a T. What are we really chasing? Toya, you there?
Whatever we want.
Lord Jesus. She gonna come in kicking the door.
Yeah, whatever we want. Just listen to what the last conversation y'all just had. Everybody don't have the same ideology. Everybody don't want the same things. Different people agree on a lot of things, but might disagree on one certain thing, like color. You understand what I'm saying? So when you do that, you're still chasing your own thing. You know, and if your own thing falls in line with the majority, then 9 times out of 10 in this day and age, people fight to make it a law because the majority feel that way. The majority, their own thing, all align on one accord. And if it be against a color, against a gender, against a specific issue, then that's what's going to be what reigns. But I mean, hey, what works for some people don't work for others. I think directions can change. I think that, you know, we hear every day about people being let free who didn't commit crimes.
Yeah.
What path do you think they were on before they got arrested for something they didn't do? Tell them that directions and paths don't change. They not all the time do things like that happen, but things in life, car accidents, deaths, and directions and paths and plans change. Probably shouldn't, you know, you probably should stay on the right track. But unfortunately, that's not how life goes for everybody. You understand what I'm saying? So, I mean, sometimes when we have conversations, it's like, I hear conversations only from one point of view, but there are multiple points of view because the things I've gone through, I can't identify with some people on here. You know what I'm saying? I can't identify with some struggles because that's just not my life. And those are not the changes that change the direction of where I am and where I'm going to go. So I think that, you know, things and directions can change. You know, outside influences can change you and point you in different directions, no matter like what the goal is or what the direction you're supposed to be going. You're doggone right, it can be changed and by an outside influence.
Yeah. That's good. Ibrahim, what are we really chasing, bro?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we were chasing what put in front of us. our expectation, you know, or what we want. You know, you just think about it. You know, I had the opportunity of seeing how to live in a small town or living in the country. The present, what the expectation was. The expectation of somebody at my time living in the country was to have a good yield, a good crop, a good harvest of hogs, to make a couple dollars, to have a decent car, to have you know, the roof repaired over your head, to have a little extra land, you know, to have more kids to help fill that extra land. You know, good creek, you know, fresh water, well, you know what I mean? And, you know, a good stove to cook on and food to cook on it. Now the expectations increased over the years for having a super mega mansion, whether you can afford it or not, to have the best of clothes, the greatest style, not to have clothes that are, you know, can be repaired or have a good quality to it, you know, at a decent bargain price, but to pay more for something, you know, pay that. The more expensive it is, the better it is. That's a train of thought. You know, so Carty wouldn't say you control a man's mind, you don't have to worry about his actions. You know what I'm saying? So our minds are controlled by a lot of things that we have, a lot of things that we see. We see, you know, what everybody else got, or things that are seen to be more or advertised more, or the character given. You know, this is things that we crave for. You know, we crave to have more than somebody else, or to have what we thought is beneficial to ourselves. Like it was said, that's an addiction. You know what I mean? Just like smoke, just like cigarettes or crack or anything else. We have an addiction to have these things that we don't even need. I mean, you look in your closet and how much you paid for something. How many things you actually need or you can even wear? You know, why they're sitting there in that closet, right? And why you got to have this type of house? Why can't you have a smaller house? Why can't you have your furniture you got? Why can't you have better quality furniture rather than the latest trend? You know what I mean? You're going to rationalize it. But it's an addiction to rationalize things, to have things. You know what I mean? Whether we need them or not. Or why we got to have credit cards. Why we can't try to pay for things cash, you know. Why we got to be, that we look at our successes based on material possessions. You know what I mean? Those are addictions. They're very toxic addictions. They cause problems because, you know, when you have a want, you know, you're ready to pay. You're ready to pay for what you want, what you beg for, what you need.
Absolutely.
You know, decent, you know, just regular things, medical care. You know what I mean?
30 seconds.
We rather fight in politics for you know, for decent medical care and talk about communist socialism when everybody needs decent money. Nobody can afford care. You can go from being a millionaire to poverty with certain medical procedures. You know what I'm saying? So our expectations are different.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Cassandra, at the end of the day, if we just sit down and everybody just sit down and reevaluate the whole existence and what they are and what we're chasing, do you think our whole perception would change? Cassandra?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
If we just sit down, if we just took a moment and just sit down and reevaluate what we're chasing and our purpose and different things of that nature, do you think the whole aspect of what we're chasing or how we're living our lives will change?
For some people, I believe it would. And for others, they'll never change. What they're chasing is it. That's all they see. That's all they felt. But I believe that if people would sit down and reevaluate for the whole good, I believe that things it could change. People could change their mind.
Absolutely. Badger, what's on your heart?
To which part?
We're still talking about the evaluation. If people want to sit down and evaluate, honestly evaluate their lives, would they change the whole perception as to what they're chasing or what they're going after or what's important?
I think that depends on if they're willing, if they had any feeling of change. Some people are very stuck in the way they think, in the way they want to live their life. So, like, it's once again, it's going to boil down to an individual. You know, that's something that we talk about is, you know, therapy and, you know, mental health aspects. You've got racist people that are still racist today, and they pass it down from generation to generation. You know, you've got people of different backgrounds, different beliefs, different, like, it's going to boil down to the individual. And if, you know, if they decide to be open-minded and change,
Mm-hmm. That's
like,
good.
these are very, like, open questions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal. Rico, what's on your heart, brother?
I agree. You know, I do believe that if everybody, okay, I'll put it to this way. When 9/11 happened, New York wasn't the only place that everybody started realizing as a mankind that we were the same and that we were, you know what I'm saying, we had to go through this same experience together. It was nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
It was worldwide. They shut the United States down. You didn't see but 2 or 3 planes in the sky, and one of them was Air Force One. The other one had Dick Cheney on it. They shut down everything.
Mm-hmm.
They showed you, look, we could stop this. Actually, we could send everybody home from work if we want to. We can come together and realize just how important life is, and then see that how terrible this is that somebody did this. Now, even though I think that was an inside job, it took something like that to pull us together, to realize our mortality in our experience, how precious it is. See, that's what people really don't understand. This experience, man, it's special.
Yeah.
Not just mine, but yours, everybody's. You know what I'm saying? I mean, people done died, been born and died in the past. They had an experience we don't know nothing about, but they went through it. It had to be special. And you know, we was talking about slavery earlier, and I always caught myself thinking about how some people were born and died in slavery. They spent their entire life being someone else's property.
Your volume went out, Rico. Your volume went out, brother.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Now, they weren't born to be natural resources, but they are of nature. And then they were taken control of and made to be a resource. That's logic. Sometimes you don't have to go and get an education and read it word for word. Sometimes you have to just think to yourself and do the math, because sometimes people ain't gonna want to admit and say that that's the way you looked at it. So you have to say, well, you know what? They might not have said we was a natural resource, but that's the way they treated us.
Wow, good deal.
So you know,
your volume went out again, Rico.
how special is a life? How valuable is a life? You know, I think if people actually start realizing just how valuable, and let's find out that an asteroid is about to come here in about a month, and they don't know what to do about it. We know what happened with the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Let a UFO go ahead and sit in the air and wait and let everybody see, yeah, we are here, we exist. Then people gonna start coming together and they're gonna realize, wait a minute, this thing called life is way bigger than me and you, and bigger than just our individual gratifications. So I put that in there when you ask, what are we living for? We are living for what makes us feel good individually.
Good deal. Good deal. Now we are about to switch up. Anybody have anything else they want to say on this particular topic before we move on? I got one more topic I want to cover today. Anybody else got anything they want to say? Good deal. Good deal. Willow.
Yes, right.
We're gonna start.
Yes.
We're gonna start this one off with you, sis. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Now, parenting is a very complicated thing. Being a parent, being a mother, being a dad, and the responsibilities that goes on to it, and the everyday responsibilities that goes into it is very taxing. It could be very taxing on an individual, on a family, on everybody involved. So I'm asking this question: if there was a way that a parent could get time off to just go and just relax and refuel themselves, maybe a weekend or a week or something like that, and knowing that the children will be safe with another family member, or they had an organization or something like that where the kids will be safe and they don't have to worry about the kids. Should parents get a time off? Should parents get time off?
Oh, for sure.
Wow.
For sure. even if not a if, but I'm gonna say for sure, just to collect themselves. Because even as human beings, we have to be like a coffee pot.
you know, you have to put that filter in there and then allow the water to run through it and leave the bad behind.
Mm-hmm.
So we always need that someone or something to filter to, is what I'm trying to say. Because it makes us a better person as a human being. So becoming a parent and learning how, because, I mean, you got different kinds of children and they're not all the same. So you learn as you go, and we make a lot of mistakes. We're not perfect.
Yes.
But as
Yes.
we go, we're able to get that meditation. We're able to come back and then do something better. So yeah, Raheem, most definitely. You need that, even if you're not doing it now. You need that.
Absolutely.
And that's what's on my heart.
Good deal. Cassandra, what do you say to that?
I absolutely believe that, yeah, parents do need that. Working with the foster care system, we have it's an R word. I can't think of the name of it, but where you can the foster care parents can get time to just do what they want, and DFACS pays somebody to keep those children, to give the parents that escape, because you're right. What I think that was Willa that just said, parenting is hard, and no, it's not like it used to be. We can try to say, well, my mama had 20 children and she never got tired. Oh, she got tired, but she just most times didn't have much recourse to that they could get a break. But now it's even more stressful as far as I'm concerned with 2 children than it may have been with 16 back then, because the children are different, everything. Our society is different. So yeah, I believe that parents do need that.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain, what do you say to that? What's on your heart? Captain, you there? Oh, Captain, you must got a call or a text or something, because your volume done went out on us. You might want to go out and come back in, and we'll come back to you. Leonard, talk to me, brother.
You know, it's hold on a second. It's a matter of perspective, you know, and I think that that perspective that you have makes things so much easier. I knew when my wife told me she was pregnant what I was going to be doing for the next 18 years. That's how long the task is.
Yeah.
I knew that for sure.
Or sometime longer.
I changed all my life for my children. I feel best around my children. That's my job. And does it get difficult? Yes. But like say, me and my wife always, you know, she said, "Oh, I need a vacation." I was like, "Well, what do you do to need a vacation? Then let's go on vacation." If that's what you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I'm built a little different when it comes to that. The struggle is what it is. And I always try to turn it into something positive. And, you know, I know a lot of people don't do it that way. But I made them. They're mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's hard because I have a certain type of care for my children that I don't care if they ever leave. You know what I'm still their father. That's what I made, man.
Yeah.
I don't even mess around like that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Ain't no I wasn't known for dropping my kids off, and no, bro. I can count on my one hand how many times my kids don't stay with somebody else.
Yeah, me too.
I'm overprotective.
Yeah.
You know, that's just how, man, don't mess with my kids, bro. Like my mom and my grandmother's, I'm around my family. That's where I'm supposed to be. That's what's important to me.
Yeah.
That's why I can say screw whatever somebody else doing. It's because I can't wrap myself up in your foolishness.
That's good.
I got too much over here to be responsible for. God is watching me.
Yes.
He built me for this. So if I keep my hand in his hand, I'm good.
That's good.
So when I get tired, guess what I do? I start praising and thanking God for what I got. People would think that I got it made or whatever. Man, stop it. I'm broke. I barely got 2 nickels to rub together. Do I, so, but you know what? Even then, I find something to be happy about.
Yeah.
Because all anger and stress, man, it almost killed me, bro. Fooling with corporate America and whatever because they didn't want to do right. So I had to get myself out of that because I fight. And that's what I admire about some people is that regardless of how things get, they never stop fighting. They never lose hope.
Yeah.
That's who the people I surround myself with.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain, you back with us? Captain, you there? Can't hear you, sir. Might want to call in, Captain. Cause we can't hear you. Something's going on with your feed. Toya with a T talk to me, says, should parents get time off?
Well, I'm not no parent, so I think I deserve a break too. Everybody deserves a break.
Absolutely.
You think I don't deserve no break because I'm single? I mean, I'm just saying. But no. I love family. I love being an auntie. You know, I had no kids. And I'm cool. Mommy, you need a break? Go ahead, because I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes life just be overwhelming. I love my kids. It's going to be 2 days before I be missing them. But sometimes we just need some me time.
Yes, absolutely.
Just me and mommy time. Or just me without daddy and y'all. Just for me just to gather myself.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Let's not make it a long extended period because that now you slipping on your pimping now. But at the same time, rolling around in rat race. Well, we talked about that rat race yesterday.
Absolutely.
And taking ourselves through some of the things we go through on a daily basis. If a superwoman or a man decided to take a break, I get it. And let me tell you this. If a superwoman or a man decided not to take a break, I applaud Leonard on his point of view. Those are my kids. That's me right there. And we don't separate. And I get that too. There's nothing wrong with that. I ain't mad at it. But trust and believe it done been some closet time, toilet time, work time, some kind of time away where you got to be in the dope and didn't have to be worried with them. That was just enough for you. So I believe everybody needs breaks, not only parents. We humans, we do a lot. We all want to feel appreciated, whether we are.
That's good.
Need a moment to gather ourselves.
Good deal. Good deal. Captain, coming back to you, sir. Can we hear you this time?
Yes, sir. How we sound now?
Oh, excellent, brother. Excellent. Do you think parents need time off?
Oh, yes, of course. Of course. Whether we take it is another story. I heard Brother Leonard, you know, and he was very passionate about what he said. No question. You know, we're in a stressful time. I mean, it is very, very, very stressful. And of course, with trying to, as they say, make ends meet and try to take care of your children and see they have the best quality of life that you can give them, and also satisfy the wifey or the husband. It's stressful. It's stressful, and we definitely, most certainly, need to take time. I'm not one to talk because I don't take time out. I really don't. I should, and God has to put my health in a certain situation where I'm forced to take time out. But when you are in the struggle, and I'm in the struggle, there's no question about it. It's kind of hard to find time because as soon as you try to find a little time, there's a situation that requires your time. So no, everyone needs to take time, spend time with your family. I have to do that. I haven't been on no vacation since Lincoln died.
Good Lord.
Look at it, crazy thing. You know, I mean, you spend time here, going. I got to do it. I have to do it. It is not so much the finances. It's just trying to prioritize what's important to us. But God is trying to slow me down and tell me I must take some time out, and everybody needs some R&R.
Exactly.
That's my point.
Good deal. Good deal. Goddess, what do you say to that? Should parents have time off? Goddess, you there? God is going once. God is going twice. Ibrahim, talk to me, brother. Should parents have time off?
Man, you think that'll happen, don't
Yes, sir.
you?
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know, my oldest is 54, my youngest is 34.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's 34. But anyway, you know, I still don't get complete time off. You know what I mean? But yeah, you do need time off. You need to take vacations. You need to get some spot time,
Mm-hmm.
me times, she time. You need time away from your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You need time government. You need to just go away and crawl through the shell. That's what I do. I mean, I get the room dark. Sometimes I have a little blues on. Sometimes I might not have nothing. I want to hear the noise of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
The loud ringing in, and you don't hear nothing else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I want to call up in a ball and just say, "Mom."
I don't know where you're going right now, Ibrahim. I don't know where you're going, brother.
hey, man, you just want to get away from the world, you
Mm-hmm.
know. I mean, but you know, in reality, I don't let things stress me that some people don't pay me. I don't get angry if people don't pay me. They don't provide for me. Somehow, unless they interfere in my life one way or another. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Those people don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the things that do matter to me is people of my blood. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And the people of my race, what affects them generally affects me.
Absolutely.
Right? But don't affect them, then they're not part of that people that I'm gonna be worried about,
Mm-hmm.
or be concerned about.
Good deal.
But every child that's hungry, now that
Mhm.
affects me.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman that doesn't have a man that has a family, have protection and security, or a good job, or whatever they need, any black man, or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That makes me suffer. But it don't worry me because they're not providing anything for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it does have an effect on me. So I
Mhm.
try to balance everything in perspective. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
If it don't have a direct effect, I can deal with it better.
Mm-hmm.
But stuff like January 6th and stuff like that, and you know, the whole Trump regime and white supremacy, that has bothered me since I was raised in that as a child. So my perspective is that it's direct effect. This is a threat to my life and my children's life and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren's life, what's going
Mhm.
on today.
Good deal. Good
So that
deal.
affects me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Other than
That-
that, they can take a hike. If they disrespect me, they don't hear from me for years.
I got you. I got you. Badger, what's on your heart, Badger? Should parents have time off?
When you're saying time off, in what respect?
Just time off where they could just drop the kids off maybe with a family member or something like that, or somebody that's going to take care of them and take 3, 4, 5 days a week or whatever they need to do to replenish themselves.
I think maybe like a day a week, maybe, just to replenish themselves. I mean,
Mhm.
that's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
But 5 days, I mean, aren't they gone enough as it is, having to work as much as some of them do? So I think that's a matter of perspective once again,
Mhm.
because my view is getting 1 day or 4 or 5 hours to just go to their calm place, be it fishing, be it bowling, playing pool, whatever, and just to relax,
Mm-hmm.
to process things or just chill out.
Okay. Okay.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with that,
Okay.
but
I go ahead.
not
Go ahead.
multiple days.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I say I agree with I guess the masses here, man. I think parents do need time off because there's so much that goes on every day. There's so many things that go on every day in their lives, man. There's so many responsibilities. And until you become a parent and you have to deal with it on a daily basis, the people that are not parents out there really wouldn't understand. Rico, read this for me. This is Paul.
I like the idea of more community-based programs for kids and families. Camps where kids can learn new things in a fun and relaxed way. Parents can chill during that time. Yeah, I agree with that. I was thinking about that same. When you take children to different activities. You know, when I was young, they used to have like an overnight thing at the YMCA. You know, but as I went, you know, to some of those things, and then I got older, I always realized that something bad could happen. So this is the point I'm getting to. You know, I like what Captain Dennis said, that those two words, rest and relaxation. R&R. Everybody needs a little rest and relaxation. That gives you a peace of mind. But the thing is man, I got a mindset like Leonard. When I started having children, man, I became a parent. I knew then that, especially when me and her were living together, I knew then that I couldn't go out and stay out till 4 or 5 in the morning come home sloppy drunk or not know how I made it home.
That's right.
You know, I knew that when we moved in together that I had to be in at a certain time. And even though I did want a little rest and relaxation sometimes, I was still particular about who we gave that rest and who was watching them.
Yeah.
If it wasn't certain people, I wouldn't be comfortable. See, it's funny because I would always say too, even with my last baby mama, we were living together and I'd be like, you know what, man, we need to get out and do something. We go to the movies or something like that. We plan a good night, but I just couldn't let my hair down. I just couldn't get lit the way that I wanted to because I would be worried about what those children were doing. And sometimes they wanted to be where they were. They probably didn't want us to come back and get them. But deep down inside, I still I was worried about them, what they doing.
Yeah.
I knew I had to get back home. I knew, that once you become a parent, things change.
Things change.
And if you're not careful, you will overlook the fact that you need rest and relaxation. Now, that's speaking from my point of view because I know a lot of parents that spend so much time doing what they want to do that you might not even realize that they have parents or have a spouse. But me personally, even when I did try to take advantage of that rest and relaxation, man, I would always be thinking about how fast I could get back to those children. I'll be glad when this is over. So I get them kids on home and get settled in, you see, because my lifestyle changed. I had to tuck people in the bed. You know, I had to bathe people in, you know, that routine, that became part of my routine.
Exactly.
That became part of my comfort, knowing that I had them in that situation. So yeah, it's necessary, but as a parent, sometimes you might even pass it up when you got the opportunity.
Y'all know something, man, and this is something my daughters, if Miri was here, she would definitely vouch for this as well. But I have 4 girls, and a lot of time when they get of age and they can actually hang out, drive and stuff like that, and go somewhere, and they hang out at night. The mom, you know, she'll go lay down, she'll go to sleep, but I'm not going to bed until they in the house, man. I'm not, you know, and like if they come in at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, they don't went to the nightclub or something like that. They come in, I'm still up. I can be tired as the Dickens, man, but I'm still up, and I sit right there, man. Sometimes, you know, I sit on the steps, man, get my little phone. I just sit there, wait on the steps, man, until, you know, when they walk in that door and I see them, I physically see them. I give them a hug, give them a kiss, and good night. You know, did you have a good time? Blah blah blah, and I go to bed. But man, if they out there in that out there, man, nah, man, I'm up until they come in, and they grown now. They grown. You know, they as a grown, even now they grown. But I still, it's something in me, man. I can't go to sleep. Willow, what's on your heart?
I get that, Raheem. What you saying? I get it. I get that. I get that, especially as a father. And I wish there was a lot of fathers in other households to care about their children like that. But the way I look at it is that I'm not being fair to my children if I'm not in the right place with myself. If my mind is not where it needs to be, where I'm able to think clearly, where I need to filter because I went to work and somebody did something to me and that's on my mind. It's a lot of things in life that affect us, our bills, everything. So every now and then we have to go take a break. Doesn't mean that we're not good parents. Because if I'm not good, they're not good.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
I have to make sure that I am good in order for them to be good, to be the best mother that I could be. See, I could sit up and worry about something that I can't change, because life is what life is. And there's a lot of things that we find ourselves feeling guilty about. If I was there, if this, if. No. Because if you do yourself like that, you'll wind up leaving here, then what's going to happen to them? So you just got to look at, like, and I'm not saying that those are not good things that you're doing, because I wish that there were a lot of fathers in the household caring about their children. But that just ain't the way life is.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
I give glory and honor to those fathers that do that, that love their sons and daughters, especially now, Raheem, with the way that these young people have no caring for life.
Absolutely.
So I feel you, I'm with you, but no, you got to. We talked about it yesterday. Your daughter, they care. You got to take care of you first. You have to be taken care of first. And that's what's on my heart, Raheem.
Good deal. Cassandra, talk to me.
Hey, Raheem.
Yes.
Raheem, I was getting ready to say, I can tell my kids they were grown. They live with me. I said, you in by 11, you stay out to 7 unless you come home from work. You in by 11, stay out to 7. So no, I didn't play. You know, they still were under my care. You know what I mean? And regardless how they thought about it, you know, you should never grow up to your parents. You should, you know, I'm not trying to be a friend or hang out with my kids. I've done once or so, you know. I ain't trying to be that. I'm still a parent. I don't care if I be 90 years old and they be 80. Right? I'm still the parent.
Absolutely. You know? Absolutely. Cassandra, talk to me. Cassandra? I'm about to say it. Cassandra, wake up and go to sleep. Wake up and go to sleep. Let me go to Goddess. Goddess, you back with us? Everybody done stepped away for a minute. Everybody.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay,
I'm here.
there you go. Should parents get time off?
Everybody needs time off. I think that's why God made angels. He don't get time off, but he's like, okay, I'm gonna let the angels, you know, let's put a guardian angel with everybody, you know, ancestors and stuff like that. I think everybody needs a time off. So he's all knowing and everything, but there's nothing wrong with having time to recollect your thoughts. Because God wants you to be with him and understanding him, and sometimes you just got to have your separate time just with him. And he loves that. So yeah, we all need a time off, you know, because I just don't understand the fact that God gave me something so precious, and when I had my baby, my time off was I was able to trust her with my mother. That's where the only time I felt comfortable is leaving my child with my mom. Now, she was that type of grandmother that was like, if you drop her off, you bring back here by a certain time and pick her up. And I made sure that I did that. But that was the only time I really felt comfortable where I could either let my hair down or whatever it may be. But here today, me and my youngest daughter, are really, really close. She's 26 years old, and she's been trying to move out. But even when she moved out, she was here every day. So I think that, like for example, what you're going through right now, where your kids go out and they come back in, they go out. I'm still the same way. But we do need to have a break in and trust God to do what he has done, because we can't be, I'm learning how not to be a worry ward and be more of a prayer ward, because I have to entrust entrust God to be able to handle whatever is going on with her out there in the streets, and I need to focus on me. Because I'm at that time in life, I've done what I needed to do as a parent, instilled in the main things, and my parenting does not stop until my last breath. But now it's time for her to utilize some of the things that have been taught.
Absolutely. It's been a great broadcast, man. I want, and we covered everything that we wanted to cover, but somehow I think Leonard got something on his heart. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
I think that it warrants us, since we was talking about parenting.
Mm-hmm.
That's the problem now. People are so out of order.
Yep.
Once you start making babies, they're the priority, man.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rico said, I can't be out here just toe down all the time and coming in and, man, that's not good parenting.
Man, I ain't as thick as you drunk I am.
And you know, I've been blessed enough to be able to balance that. That's why it's so important that I have a wife.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand? That's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I need.
Mm-hmm.
All that other stuff I want.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But that's why I lean so heavily on people. I was like, you know what? It wouldn't be such a struggle if you get in line with God's order of things.
Mm-hmm.
That's your break.
Yep.
Your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, me and my wife, the only thing we do separate, we go on we anniversaries and things like that. But now my children are older, you know, so I'm so glad. But just like you, I remember my mother. I came at 2:00 in the morning, trying to get to my room. Her door cracked.
Yep.
You know what? You know what I'm saying, man?
Yep.
And that's why I wanted to get away from home so bad, so I wouldn't even, so she wouldn't have to look for me. To wait on me. Mama, I'm not coming back every night no more. You know, when you get to that point, it's time to be grown. You know, and how you manage I love what Ibrahim said. I don't play when it comes to certain things. Exactly. And so if you establish that, then it's like Miss Willa, I believe it says. That's the whole purpose of loving. And you can take a break and things like that, but that break ain't always out of desperation.
It's a good deal.
If you balance it and put it into your routine, it's less stressful.
Yeah.
Much far less stressful.
Good deal. Captain, anything on your heart right now? Captain, you there?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I had reading the article and got drifted into it. I just want to say that we have a great opportunity in life, and we only have one life to live. So try to live it the best you can, be the best human being you can. We're not perfect. God knows we're not perfect. But we have to strive for perfection. And I admire everyone on this line. I'm so happy that I know you. Each and every one of you have enriched me of certain knowledge, certain things I've learned from you all. And I'm going to try my best to be a better human being so I could try to represent that quality of life to others. But that being said, thank you, Raheem, for always giving me this great opportunity to share.
Absolutely. Rico, what is going on, sir, at 3:00 today? It's been a great broadcast today, man. The weather and everything tried to knock us out, but we stuck right in there and made it through. So, Rico, what's going on? Not through now, we made it through. There's a difference in those two. Rico, what's going on at 3:00 today, sir?
Well, you got something set up at 3:00 where if people actually missed this broadcast and would like to see or hear the rebroadcast in its entirety, they can tune in at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Yes, sir. Is she here?
I'm here, Raheem. Let's go.
Is she here? I just want to know, is she here? Willa!
Let's go, Raheem. Raheem,
yes.
Let's go.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You
Are you ready, Raheem?
Are you sure you ready? I'm going to see you ready.
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Raheem.
Let's go.
Let's go to the throne. Let's go to the throne, Raheem. Let's go together. Father God in heaven, Lord, Father, we just thank you so much. We thank you, Lord, for allowing us to get up together so that we can get our relationship right with you, Lord. Father, we know that in this world that we can't do anything without you. Yes. Father, we know with you, we can do all things. You said it in Philippians 4:13, that through Christ, we can do all all things.
Yes.
And Father, I trust that word. I trust your promises. I trust, Lord, that you will be with us during those times when we need you, Lord. Father, I trust you that you will protect my family like you said, Lord. Father, I love and honor you this morning. And I'm asking you, oh Lord, to keep those who are at the sound of my voice, Lord. Touch their hearts. Open up their minds to the truth, Lord. Keep giving us wisdom, guidance, and understanding. Lining us up with your will and showing us your way. Father, we thank you so much for today. Touch Raheem and the Morning Glow family. Father, I'm asking these things in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen, amen, and amen. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. With that being said, man, we're going to get on out of here, man. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your morning. It is now 10:05. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you can do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. And then we shine some of this light in you from the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. See you tomorrow if God say the same.